Hello everyone, welcome to the first race of the Esports division in F1 Total, Season 1, Round 1 at Bahrain. My name is Enela Phoenix 1, I will be taking you through tonight's race, and I'm joined by Sully. Welcome!
Hello, hello. Yeah, hoping for a nice and clean racing, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it should be an exciting start in the season. We've got, well, not quite a full grid today, unfortunately. Peke are not taking part today, they didn't submit any lineup, so we are down to just 9 teams with Vlog as well. Also, only one driver in the lobby right now, since the second driver has not joined. So Q1 will be a bit quiet, but I think after that we can get going properly. But even in Q1, of course, we will still have 2 drivers eliminated, the 2 slowest, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. First race of a new division in F1 Total. Of course, we had the qualifying last week, which, well, I wasn't there for, but Sony was there for, so I'm sure you can maybe say us who, or tell us who the strongest teams going into this could be.
Yes, so if we look back to last week's qualifiers, there was AMR Esports who are driving in the Aston Martin, who were the strongest team and not even
Right.
close. They had with the average time, there were a few tenths faster than everyone else, but we how they are going to perform this week.
Yeah, you said AMR Esports in the Aston Martin. Is that in your notes? Or did you read it incorrectly? Because in the Ferrari.
Uh, yeah,
To be fair,
that's actually true.
The thing is, I also always associate AMR with Aston Martin Racing. I
And,
can't, like,
and
get that out of my
because
head.
they drove Aston Martin last week, so that's why that confused me completely. So they drive Ferrari this week as last week. So okay, that is my bad.
So yeah, for the actual season, AMR will be in the Ferrari. Yeah, the car picks were in order of the fastest, or of the qualifying after the penalties were applied. Of course, there were quite a few penalties applied, which is, for example, when you're seeing IAT in here, even though they only had 1 driver qualifying, they were last originally in qualifying. But with penalties for other teams, with late lineups, changing lineups after the deadline, or doing both, it changed quite a bit which teams we end up having in the season. But now we've got that all sorted. Now we have our 10 teams competing. Well, 9 today with Peck unavailable, unfortunately. And of course, the start of Q1, as is tradition on the Formula 1 games, we've got mostly intermediates. I do see the Sauber of Morge for HRT out on dry tires. Of course, with full qualifying here in the F1 Total Esports division, you need to actually save some tires during qualifying. You only have 4 softs available, I believe, if you pick the softer tire allocation. It does get reset for the race, so you can actually use all 4 of them. But still, it makes sense, I would say, to save a set of tires early on in Q1 you can then use in Q2 or Q3. Especially when we're down to 17 drivers and only 2 will get knocked out anyway. Although, of course, it is possible that Velox get another driver in, if either their reserve or their main driver for today ends up making it. But we'll stay on board with Morge here. In the middle sector, he's going to put in a 105.819 and a nice flick into the second to last corner. Overtake mode enabled all the way down. Now we're on to hot lap, of course. He's got the Ferrari up ahead of him. Could be the first lap of the session from his teammate Leagos, 27.6, and a massive slide from Morgan as he comes around the final corner. But over the line, that's a 127.443. Just under 2 tenths faster than his teammate. So far, an HRT 1-2, admittedly the only teams on the or the only team on the soft compound. Toby as well in the V Cup, which is Velox. Is it? Wait, no. Is it? No, they're Alpine. They have the same color as V Cup. That's confusing. LR, there we go, Legacy Racing, sorry. That I should really have studied that beforehand. A new fastest time by a massive margin from AMR David Martinez, 26.8. And like you said, AMR want to look out for the season. Toby goes third fastest. And now we don't actually have anyone on a dry compound tire. Of course, one team worth mentioning, and the team I'm supporting obviously, NLR Development to be precise, they didn't compete in qualifying because they were already qualified with, well, to be entirely transparent, with Lars and myself running the event, both being NLR managers. I think it's fairly obvious why we pre-qualified. Admin bias. But yeah, we can see how NLR is going to do throughout the season. We didn't see them in qualifying, but now they can show their potential. I do think we'll be near the front. That is what I expect of us. And Luca with a 1:30.227 on the intermediates. I do see another car on the softs now, so we can see an actual hot lap here with a Velox Alpine of Daniel. And a massive slide out of turn 4, that has certainly cost him a 10-4-2, if not more. But still, the car at least still on track, but is all over the place in terms of the overstay here. Of course, the grip throughout Q1 very limited. It's going to improve throughout the session. Track evolution. While it's not much of a thing in short qualifying, you can definitely feel it. And another massive overstay moment out of turn 10 for Daniel, and I think that's the lap firmly ruined, so he's going to have to go out again later, or risk getting knocked out. Yeah, I was talking about track evolution just there. It's much more of a factor when you have a qualifying session, full qualifying session I should say, sorry, with Q1, Q2 and Q3, with 45 minutes of driving. The track evolves quite a lot more, and the grip difference instead of Q1 to the end of Q3 is significant. So, Daniel into the final corner, and despite all the mistakes, he's actually not going to finish the lap, so Daniel back in the pit lane. And we have Zeno in the second Legacy Racing car. Also coming up in the Sector 2, Gavroche in the McLaren for NLR, also on his first lap of the session, also on a soft compound tire. And into the final corner he goes, braking just before the 50-meter board at about 75 meters for the last corner. He's run out of ERS as he approaches the line. That's going to cost him a couple of thousand as well. And over the line, that's a 27.965. The slowest out of the soft runners, I believe. Yes, by 3/10 that he's slower than Yagos right now. We'll go on board with the McLaren of Gavroche. 28.2 in the first sector. And sending it into turn 11. Bit of overtake mode up the hill now. Using a lot of the curb on the inside. 105.455 middle sector. It's worth mentioning Gavroche only a couple of days ago was racing for the NLR main team in EML, and he actually won the race. So now he's racing for the development team at the same track in Bahrain, and you would think that he can maybe repeat that. And he goes second fastest, 26.945. About 3/4 of a tenth behind David Martinez. So very close at the front right now. And that could already be enough for them. I don't think we'll be seeing more laps in Q1 from David Martinez or Gavroche. I think everybody else could still be in danger with, well, half a second distance between P2 and P3 right now. And at this point, everybody is put on the softs. So no more intermediate laps from here on out. We're halfway through Q1 and the session is going to get underway properly from here on out. Only two drivers now lap time at all are Daniel and Exotic Plains. So they're the ones currently in the drop zone. But that can change at any moment, of course. The intermediate lap time should be fairly easy to beat. The only ones with competitive lap times are the top 5. Liagos, Toby, Morgan, Gavroche and David Martinez. The only ones who actually did a lap on softs. Daniel aggressively warming up his tires here as he comes down to the final corner. Can go on board with the second AMR car of Sam Arling, who's just come out of turn 10 here. Also on the soft compound tire on his first competitive lap of the session. His teammate in P1, we'll see if he can join him at the front. Fifth gear for turn 11. Bit of an oversteer moment which he corrects very quickly. And at the end of sector 2, that is a 105.821, of course significantly up on his previous best. And one more corner to go for the AMR driver. And so far I would say this lap looks very clean. This should certainly be enough to get him to Q2, and that's all that matters in Q1 really. You can't buy anything from being P1 here. 27.313. I would say that could be enough already. See a Red Bull coming up to the final corner. It's bumpy on an out lap. After that a Mercedes of AGK Racing for Sierra. 2 seconds up in the middle sector, 105.3. And one more corner to go for him as well now. And that could then be him safely in the Q2. I would say it's another lap that seems good enough. And over the line, a 126.711, he goes top. That is certainly good enough for AGK Racing. Morgan with a massive slide out the final corner. He abandons the lap. Is very unhappy, as you can see him shaking the steering wheel. Daniel over the line. That's a 127.640, 7th position. He could be in danger with that. Exotic Planes coming out the final corner, currently last. At the moment, both him and his teammate would be knocked out in Q1. He goes 6th fastest, 27.493. Boomja is invalidated in his lap, and as he goes P16, there is 6 minutes to go in qualifying at least for him though, so he still has another chance to improve. Aston Martin coming around the final corner, that's Thomas Belcher starting a lap. We've got the Red Bull of Boomja up to the final corner. We'll see if he starts another lap on the same tire or if he's gonna go back to the pits. Another lap on the same tire. David Martinez retiring in the pit lane, so he will not be going out in Q1 anymore. We have Flume and Kiki both coming to the end of the laps. Kiki with a 5.8 middle sector, and Flume with a 5.9. So a bit slower than the Aston Martin out of him, but I think both are looking decent. And over the line for Kiki, that is a 127.403, 6th position. And Flume 11th, 27.585. And it's very, very close. I mean, from 6th to 11th, 403 to 585, not even 2 tenths.
Yeah, it is indeed very close. Does not play a big part in Q1 because we're only 17 drivers, only 2 drivers are going to be eliminated. But for Q2 it's going to be very interesting if you consider they're going to be point in qualifying. So it's going to be very interesting in the next minutes.
Yeah, I think for Q1 we'll have to look mainly at the likes of Zeno, Bumpje, Kevin Zunderberg, Liagos, Daniel. As Bumpje goes 9th fastest, 4.68. So he has got himself out of the drop zone. Liagos has to abandon his lap as he makes a mistake. And he's on the cusp right now on P15. Zeno improved by almost 2 tenths. So he has a massive lockup in turn 1 there, locking the rears and almost bringing the car. Kevin Zunderberg on his, well, hopefully first completed lap on the softs this session. 38.588, his previous best on the intermediates. The only one without a lap time on the softs. So the only one where we really have no idea what his pace could be like. And then that could be Liagos out of Q1 if Kevin can improve by enough. Zeno currently not in a hot lap. Liagos not in a hot lap either. Most of the rest of the field in the pits. 3 minutes to go. Who's still gonna go out? I mean, the likes of Daniel, Flume, Toby, Kenny. I wouldn't say they're safe. The top 4 of all the tired, they are certainly safe. I mean, it's so close in the midfield. If Zeno, Liagos and Kevin can find a bit of pace. It's Kevin with a 5.8 in the middle sector.
I couldn't even say that the top 10 is safe because it's so close. So
yeah, I mean, if they all go out, who are outside the top 10, and they all improve, you could still be knocked out. It's true. 7th position for Kevin, 27.372. Zeno's one off. Unley calls back to the pit lane. 2.5 minutes to go. Is he gonna get out in time?
Oh,
Liagos
is currently out by 1,000th of a second.
Yeah, it's mighty low. Daniel is out on track, and I mean, he has all the reason to be out on track, being 1,000th away from being knocked out. Flume has come out as well.
It looks like he doesn't. Does he have enough time to come out and?
I mean, Liagos is still in the pits. We only have 2 minutes to go. He's finally coming out now.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he will make the line. He has about 30 seconds to spare, so he's fine. But Zeno, I think he's only just been pushed into the pit lane. He could be in trouble. And a lot of cars out on track once again. Kevin on his in lap, I don't think we'll be seeing much more from him. Yeah, he's run out of fuel as well, so he's done. But Morgue, Exotic Plains, Kenny, Flume, Daniel, and Liagos, they are all going to be doing one more lap. I see another few cars coming out the pit lane.
Zeno's not coming off the pits, but it's too late now. So
yeah, he's not going to make the line.
We have the first driver who is out in Q1.
Daniel's starting his lap now. In P15, he needs to improve here. Or he has to hope that Liagos does not improve on his time. Kevin retires in the pit lane. Apparently Zeno is out, unless he performs an absolute miracle to make the line. And Daniel with what looked like a pretty decent first sector. Down by 79,000 actually. Not improving on his previous best.
He had a little moment out of turn 1, which cost him this 10th that he's lost in sector 1.
That shows you how close the margins are. I mean, I'm used to commentating Division 2, so little moments like that, I don't even pick up on. Like, I think that's a clean lap, but that is the level that we are talking about here. These guys, I mean, this guy is 15th, and I said he did a good sector, and he's actually down on his previous best. So that tells you that the level is quite high in competitions like these. And in the middle sector, Daniel, he is up by close. He's invalidated!
Oh,
he was up by close to 2/10, but he goes too wide on the exit, on the entry, sorry. And the lap is immediately over. And now, Liagos, that could be his ticket into qualifying too. If he just improves by, well, any amount of time. 55,000 down in the first sector. Zeno did not make the line, and Liagos with a massive mistake. He's not going to improve. He is not going to improve, and that is qualifying 1 done. It's decided. Daniel has been saved. Despite his mistake, Liagos also made a mistake, and it's going to be Liagos and Zeno out in Q1. So, at the end of Q1, Legacy Racing and Hyper Racing Team each have been reduced to 1 driver. Everybody else has kept all their drivers in the session. Of course, Venox was 1,000 away from exiting qualifying completely, since Daniel is the only one representing the team today at all. Toby's still going. He's up by 3.5 tenths. Purely for pride purposes at this point, he's already safely into Q2. We'll see if he comes over the line here. He is going to finish the lap, and he jumps into P6, I believe that was, with a 27.231. So, that's the end of Q1. AGK Racing tops the timing sheets with a 26.710. David Martinez and Gavroche in the 26s as well. Morgay in 4th, sorry, then Luca in 5th. You can see the rest of the results here. But the important part, at the bottom, Zeno and Liagos are out in Q1. Liagos 1,000th away from beating Daniel to 15th. But very close margins. I mean, even Zeno, he's only a second off P1 and he's down in last place with that. So we could be in for a very, very good race today. Looking at the margins that are on show here in F1 Total Esports Division. Down to 15 drivers, and now I would say it's gonna get very exciting because we saw how close it was in the midfield. In behind the top 5. And I could honestly see almost anyone getting knocked out in Q2 here. The likes of David Martinez, Gavroche, they seemed very, very quick in the Q1. So I would say they are quite likely to make Q3, but apart from that, I don't want to predict anything today. And immediately everybody out of the pit lane and on soft tires, of course. This time, no punches pulled, no intermediates on the car, no one's wasting any time. Just out on track immediately. Also, an interesting little glitch that I'm seeing for the first time right now. It's the first time for me doing a full qualifying session as a commentator on this game. It says lap and then the time on the top left.
True, yeah. It's actually true.
Classic Codemasters there. You would think that this type of thing shouldn't happen anymore. After, I mean, what's it been, 15 years of Codemasters F1 games, but evidently not. Still an issue after all this time. Still some very simple bugs.
Or it's like after like, I don't know, 8 months where this game is out. Should be a thing that shouldn't be really difficult.
I wonder if this is an issue in every full qualifying session. I mean, this is the very first time I'm doing a full qualifying, and it's the very first time I'm seeing it, so could be.
Isn't it a thing in every qualifying?
I don't think so. I would have noticed it before, surely. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just blind. But the first couple of cars are starting their hot laps now here in Q2. Both of the Haas cars, or both of the Jesus, I've done it again. Evolution Racing cars, there we go. See, it's easier when people have their team's name in their name, then I don't have to look it up, which team is in which car. But EVR, the first team out on track with both their cars right after each other, exotic planes up ahead of Kevin Zunneberg. Then two Aston Martins, the GT10 cars of Thomas Belcher and GT10 Kiki. Those will be the first completed lap in Q2.
Don't take it personal with the team names. I have write that down and still wrong, so...
Yeah, see, this is why I don't even bother writing it down, because I know I won't have time to look at it anyway. So, into the final corner goes Exotic Planes. We saw high 26s as the fastest times in Q1. Of course, these guys could be on used tires now, so the times could be a bit slower at first. 27.2 and a 27.9 for his teammate. Massive, massive difference. Of course, Kevin could be on used tires. Kiki 27.5 right in the middle. And Thomas 27.231. Goes fastest. Morgay's invalidated. Gavroche goes first, 27.106. Next two cars cross the line, the two AMRs. Sam Arling and David Martinez coming up in the final corner here. And I see a number 5 on the Ferrari. That's just beautiful. Brings back memories. And over the line, Sam Arling, 27 27.765. His teammate David Martinez a full second faster than Sam. 26.748 and 4/10 clear of Gavroche in second place. A mighty impressive lap. And the first one in the 126s.
If we look at the gap, I would assume that it's necessary to drive a low 27 to have a chance for Q3. But yeah, with a high 27 or a mid or high 27, it's gonna be difficult to make the.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many of these guys were on used tires when they did that lap. I mean, David Martinez definitely not, but the likes of Gavroche, we saw do a lot faster time in Q1. I think Sam Arling was also much faster in Q1. Same for Kenny, Kevin and Daniel there in 9th to 11th. So it's very tough to say who can improve by how much here. But of course, if they were on used tires, a track like Bahrain, there's loads of tire wear. So the lap time will be way slower than what they could do on a fresh set. And that could be something to look out for as we go into the second laps of Q2. But I do think everyone apart from David is going to need a second lap. David should be safe with a 26.7, but everybody else cannot feel too comfortable with the laps they've done at the start. And La Luca into the final corner for his first lap of the session. Bit of all-tech mode down to the line. DRS enabled as well, of course, and that is a 1:27.080 second place for the NLR man. Only 26 thousandths out of his teammate. And Toby going back to the pit, he's not going to finish his lap. We've got Flume coming into the first corner here. His teammate AGK also just starting his lap. So the two Sierra cars leaving it quite late here with their first laps in Q2. Along with Morgus just on his outlap now. They are the only drivers here with not completed lap time. 28.456 first sector for Flume. Compared to David Martinez, 28.009. So 4/10 the difference in sector 1 alone. David really has pulled out, an absolutely amazing lap there. But once again, that's not what we're looking at for Q2. I think once we are in Q3, I can put a lot more emphasis on the guys at the top. But right now we are looking at the guys at the bottom. P10 and downwards. Kenny currently on the cusp, Kevin, Daniel, Morgan, AGK and Flume who've been knocked out. 106.0 middle sector for Flume, that is not too good. We saw a lot of 105s earlier in Q1. I don't think Flume will be very far up the field with this. And a bit of an all-stay moment as he comes on the final corner as well. DRS enabled up to the line, 27.5858 8th position. AGK Racing, he topped the timesheets in Q1. So we'll see if he can join David Martinez at the front. That is a 1:26.750, and yes, he certainly can. 2 thousandths the difference from P1 to P2 right now. Now in 15th, Morge, the only one left in Q2 without a lap time, as we have 6 minutes, closer to 7 minutes left in the session. This could already be his last. I think I will. Never mind. He will make it round in time for another in lap and then the out lap after this. So you will have one more chance. But we are getting close to end of Q2 already. So it would certainly be very, very useful for him to put in the banker now, so that he can go into the last lap with a bit less pressure. And he's got a 1:06.072, so close to what we saw Froome do earlier. He's currently in 9th. So Morgan should be ending up in a similar position. It's quite a big gap there from 7th to 8th. Boompje 27.288, Kiki 27.552. And over the line, that's a 27.796, the last sector. Yeah, not nearly as good as Floome's earlier, after I compared their sector 2 times, and Morgan only in 12th. Kevin coming up the final corner for his second lap of the session. 27.993 to beat, and that's a 26.985, a full second gain, and he jumps all the way into third place. Daniel coming up to the line as well, currently in last now with a 28.191, and he improves to a 27.178, also gains a full second and jumps into 6th place. And I think it could be about right by saying you need a low 27, high 26 to get into Q3. Thomas Balker with a 26.870, lagged for a moment there, goes third fastest. Boompie coming up to the final corner as well for IRT. 27.288 to beat. Currently in 9th. And he improves to a 27.014, jumps into 6th position. As it stands, I don't think anybody's on a push lap. No, nobody on a hot lap at the moment. Everybody either back in the pits or just coming out of it. Luca, just starting a lap, hugging the inside line here over the main straight as well. We saw this a lot in F1 Esports, avoiding the bumps on the left-hand side, getting you a couple of thousands, and now, of course, moving back to the racing line for the braking zone. Bit of a lock-up on the front right, but I don't think that cost him any time. That certainly cost him a lot of time, though. A massive oversteer moment. He goes in the gravel. Is he still gonna keep going, though? Seems like he is. Kevin retiring in the pits. He seems confident at that 26.9. Or he's confident he can't improve. Luca down by 2.5 tenths. Yeah, of course, that massive mistake. Surprise is still going. I thought the best choice of action from here would have been to abandon the lap and go again next lap. But maybe he doesn't have enough fuel. Yeah, he doesn't have enough fuel. 1.4 laps of fuel left. I see it on the top right of the steering wheel. Luca could be in big trouble here.
It's gonna be close with the time. Gonna be close with the just 2 minutes left. I would say if half a minute to push into the pits and drive out again. So it's gonna be very tight at the end.
Yeah, he's down by 3 tenths. There's no point finishing this lap. He's gonna have to go back to the pit lane and then try and get a new set of tire on in time to improve. Let's see, and indeed I think Luca is gonna go for the pit lane here. Yep. 2 minutes 15 left. I do think he will make it round in time for another lap. David Martinez also retiring the pit lane now from P1. His teammate Sam Arling about to start a lap. Exotic Planes also now are retiring in the pits. P4 and 5 at the moment for EVR, and they seem confident that's enough, the 26.985 and 991 that they have. Sam Arling, currently 13th on a 27.765. Needs at least a 27.552 for P10, and then there's another 4 tenths between Kiki and Daniel. I would say P10 and downwards would probably on used tires, which would explain the big difference between Kiki and Daniel there in the 10th and 10th and 9th, sorry. So all of these guys outside the top 10. Still have a lot of potential in the laps left, I would say. Sam Arling, there we go, almost 2.5 tenths up in the first sector. That didn't look too good of that section though. Luca retiring in the pits as well. From 7th position, that could be a mistake. For Sam Arling, the middle sector I would say did not look as good as the first sector. But we'll see the sector time as he comes up the hill. And the end of sector 2, that is a 1:05.653 middle sector. He doesn't improve on his previous middle sector. And he's gonna abandon the lap. He's trying to recharge energy in time by brake dragging. That's not gonna work. This is not gonna be enough energy for another lap. Sam Arling could be in real trouble here.
Doesn't look good. I think he's out.
Yep, that's Sam Arling out of the session for sure. Flume up by 2.5 tenths in the first sector, currently in 11th. We also have Kenny on a lap, Daniel, Gavroche. Gavroche hasn't validated in 8th. And it's NLR in real trouble. 7th and 8th at the moment, and neither driver will do another lap in this session. The only thing that's going to save them is the massive gap that they have to P10.
Flume is improving by nearly half a second.
Yeah, he was certainly on used tires earlier then. He's about to get close to 126s. And for Flume, this lap is going to end up as a 127.073, 7th position. All of a sudden, Kiki is out of Q2 as he gains 66 thousandths in the first sector. Kenny is 5 tenths down, not 5 seconds, but still a significant amount. I don't think he'll be improving. Toby 2 tenths up in the first sector. I am not being shown more sector time. Kiki a 10th down in sector 2, so he's actually gained back 4 tenths, but that will still not be enough. Mistake he made in sector 1 is going to cost him, and that will be Kenny. Out of qualifying, very, very likely, and very likely in P15 as well. As he comes across the final corner and down to the line as he finishes the lap. 27.924 improves, but stays 15th. Lost too much time in sector 1. AGK Racing 26.438. Kiki coming up to the line, currently 11th. Daniel did not improve on his position, he stayed in P10. Kiki 27.237 stays in 11th. Toby, he's gaining almost half a second though. And over the line, that's a 127.058 P7 for Toby. Morgan also improved by half a second. And over the line he goes, 26.915. And that's Q2 done as well. So, Luca just about held on. Gavroche did not, Daniel did not, Kiki did not, Sam Arling and Kenny out as well. And they were quite far off. Sam Arling 27.7, Kenny 27.9. While Kiki in 13 with a 27.2, half a second faster than them. Of course, I think, well, Kenny, he lost half a second in the first sector. And Sam Arling didn't improve on his time on the first round, which I think would have been on used tires. Very, very close there once again. Luca in P10, 27.080 was the time to beat. Gavroche, 27.106. Daniel, 27.178. Kiki, 27.237. And Gavroche, I mean, I said Gavroche could end up winning today, seeing as he won already in EML. But now he's out in Q2. Valiant effort, I would say, as well from Daniel. He only barely made it into Q2. And he also, once again, only barely got knocked out in Q2. So he did definitely improve on his qualifying 1 performance. But here we are then. The final qualifying session. The fight for pole position. And the fight for the first points of the season as well. Since with the point system that we have in the F1 Total Esports division, there are quite a few points given for qualifying. Namely, 10 points for pole position, 8 points for P2, 6 points for P3, then 5 for P4, 4 for P5, 6 for P6, 3 for P6, 2 for P7 and 1 for P8, which is the old point system that Formula 1 used before 2010, where they introduced the 25, 18, 15 and so on system. So, points on offer for the top 8 here. P9 and 10 will come out of this with 0. So, 10 drivers left in Q3, and if I'm seeing this right, there's only 2 teams who actually had both drivers make it, namely EVR with Exotic Planes and Kevin Zunneberg in the Haas, and Sierra with Flume and AGK in the Mercedes. Everybody else has lost at least 1 driver along the way. So a strong start for Sierra and EVR here in the F1 Total Esports division. The first lap of the session will be started by GT10 Thomas Balcer, or Balcer. I'm never sure how to pronounce people's names. I apologize. I'm getting like every name wrong. I'm confident in this stream, so feel free to correct me afterwards.
Alex and I called him Balcer last week. So I don't know. That's how.
And you weren't corrected. Okay.
Pronounce it.
So either you were right or they didn't care.
I was one. Yeah.
He's got quite a few cars right behind him as well. I think the Ferrari of David Martinez right behind Thomas as he starts his lap. Why do I not have times on the top right? There we go, lap data. So down to turn 10. Bit of a front left lockup, but the spectator mode I think is still glitched. So the lockups could be either real or fake. But a glitch since as long as I can remember that the tires lock up a lot more on the spectator camera than they do when you're actually driving. So at the end of sector 2, that is a 105.251 for the GT10 man. And of course it will be the fastest time when he comes across the line. But for how long? He's got David Martinez right behind him, who has been setting the pace along with a few other guys in Q1 and Q2. So, over the line, 26.761 and 26.490 for David Martinez. Luca starting his lap in behind as well. Kevin Zunneberg starting his lap. AGK starting his lap. Morges and Valde at his first run. Behind that we have Bumpje on an out lap. So the next car's finishing lap will be Exotic Plains. But he makes a bit of a mock-up of turn 10 there. At least the car's still on track, pointing in the right direction, so he hasn't thrown it completely away, but certainly lost a couple of tenths coming through there. And in the middle sector, that's a 105.562, about 3 tenths slower than Thomas Balcher, and he is in second place. So I would say Exotic Plains on for a low 27 here. Of course, once again, we don't really know who is on used and who is on fresh tires. And over the line, that's a 27.040, just like I said. Next car comes in the line, the McLaren of Enela Luca. Toby, 27.7 for Vika up there, 4th position for the Legacy Racing man. And over the line for Luca, that's a 127.168, 4th position. AGK, he has been up there in Q1 and Q2, and over the line that's a 26.533. Once again, it's close between him and Dave Martinez at the front. I see Boomje coming up to the final corner as well. The IRT man, of course, currently in 10th without a lap time, and that's about to change. Bit of overtake mode enabled as well. So he goes down to the line. That's a 126.774, 4th position. 13 thousandths only between himself and Thomas in 3rd. Kevin Zunneberg and Flume, the only ones I believe now on hot laps. Quickly shift through everyone. Yep. And Flume will be the next one across the line. And then Kevin. Morgan, the only one who didn't complete his run on the first his first run, so he will be down at the bottom without a banker, with all to do in the second lap. 5.5 middle sector for Flume, and for Kevin. He's run out of fuel! Kevin will also not be completing the lap. At least not a competitive one. And if he does, he might not even get around in time for another one, so he should go back to the pits here. 26.955 for Flume. That's 5th position. And Kevin is gonna have to crawl back to the pit lane here. to have one more shot at putting in a good lap time here. As it stands, Kevin and Morgan the only ones in Q3 not scoring any points for their efforts in qualifying.
Just for everyone sitting at home and wondering how good these drivers actually are, just to give you an idea, the pole position time from last season Bahrain time in Div 1 was a 1:7.3. So just to give you an idea how good these guys here actually are.
Was that a Jeremy lap or who pulled there?
You.
Ah, yes, I'm the best.
You're washed.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I would be last right now. I mean, there's a reason that I'm in here commentating and not driving. I haven't even made the 6-driver roster for NLR for this this 3-race tour around the Middle East. But maybe I'll be on the grid later in the season. We'll see. We don't have Singapore, so that is bad for me. Oh, wait, do we have Singapore? I don't know my own calendar. We don't. Okay. I do know my own calendar. Good. Well, mine and Lars's calendar. For once, I didn't do it alone. Weird to get used to that for the
We have
time.
Mexico.
We do have Mexico. That's a good point. Maybe that will be my race. I mean, I know for certain I will not be doing Imola. awful track. So, calm before the storm here. Everyone back in the pit lane before their last runs in qualifying 3. At the moment, David Martinez on pole position with a 26.490. AGK Racing less than half a tenth behind that in second place. I mean, if I open up the gap to leader, if we discount Toby, who I think would have made a big mistake on his lap somewhere, the entire field is within 6.5 tenths, and I think there's going to be a couple of guys there with used tires, so it could become a lot closer once we're done with Q3 here. So it's looking rather competitive at the moment. And the first car's coming out onto the track now. Flume, I think the first one, yep. Who is coming out the pit entry here. So David Martinez and AGK look like the favorites for pole position, but we'll see if anyone can surprise us. Who the hell is Little Sister?
That's Lumi.
Ah, yes, I remember. That was last week as well, I think we were wondering who Little Sister was.
We've been wondering in last qualifiers, yeah, it was very weird to name him Little Sister. But then the manager from the team that he drives told us that his name is Lumi.
Okay, yeah, Lumi has just joined us as well, so that is Vlog's up to 2 drivers, but he'll join, well, since he's joined at the end of qualifying, he will be starting in last place in 18th. But at least we do have another driver for the race now, so that means every team competing in today's race have got 2 drivers. The only team not included in that is PEC with, well, 0 drivers for today. But hopefully we'll see them next week, and then they can start, yeah, going along with their season. So, Flume around the final corner. The first one who gets us underway here for Q3. 26.955 to beat. And he brakes at 100 meter board for turn 1. Car rotates in very nicely. Not even a hint of a lift through turn 2. And DS open, bit of all-tech mode used down towards turn 4. Braking once again, just after the 100 meter board this time around. Clipping the inside apex. And a bit over the curve as well on the exit. 53 thousandths gained in the first sector, staying in 6th gear for the S section, all over the curves as well there, using absolutely everything available off the track. and all over the curb as well on the exit. Down towards turn 10 here. The most tricky corner of the lap, I would say. Front left locking up completely, at least in the spectator view, but the car rotating in rather nicely, so maybe not on his camera. And into turn 11. Bit of overtake mode as well, used with the DRS open here. Staying in 5th gear all the way through, but he goes over the white line. Apparently not, the game allows it. And that's a 105.525 middle sector, but now he goes over the white line. Luca, meanwhile, behind him, 4.5 tenths up on his previous best in the middle sector. So while Flume has bottled his lap, Luca is on for a very, very strong lap as he goes down into the final corner. Previous best 27.168. And the NLR man
for the second row.
26.582, third position. AGK though gaining by almost 3 tenths. He's about to steal pole position away from Dave Martinez. There we go, 26.338. Dave Martinez has invalidated. And that should mean... Oh, Thomas Belcher's up by 3 tenths as well though. Toby up by 5 tenths as he comes down into the last corner. Kevin has invalidated again. No lap time from Kevin Zunneberg in Q3. Toby across the line. That is gonna be a 126.997. And for Thomas over the line, 26.441 in second position. Boom here is 12 seconds down. Morge, 5.3 middle sector. Currently in 9th, we'll see how far up the grid he can go. And that's a 26.7916 position. And that's Q3 done. Yes, AGK Racing qualifies on pole position for Sierra. In second place, Thomas Belcher in the Aston Martin for GT10.
And takes the lead of the championship. That's a thing that we need to say after qualifying.
12 points for Sierra here, with Flume in 7th and AGK in 1st. Dave Martinez in 3rd place there. A good point haul for AMR as well. NLR in 4th with NLR Luca. Boom here in 5th. Morgue in 6th, and then we already talked about Flume. Exotic Planes in 8th. Toby in 9th. Everyone who made Q3 in the 126s, apart from Kevin Zunneberg, who hasn't put a lap in. A very, very strong grid that we have today. So I'll quickly go ahead and screenshot the grid for our host so you can set up the lobby. In the meantime, the drivers can retire from the race, and then we'll go back to the lobby, turn on the collisions, and after that we will be ready to go for the race. Alright, that was quick. Thankfully all drivers getting retired from the race quickly there. And then we will be ready for the actual race in a couple of minutes. Just need to let Daniel set up the grid for the race, and then, yeah, will be happy to go. I'm expecting mostly soft hard or hard medium strategies. The medium around this track, not a particularly good tire. But of course, some drivers could be forced onto it if there's badly timed safety cars. So, now that qualifying is done, any predictions for the race? Anything that you picked up on? Who could be the fastest guys today? Could pick up the race win?
That's actually a very good question. I would stick with AMR overall being a very, very strong team to look at, especially with Miss and but yeah, AGK has had a, a fantastic qualifying. So yeah, these two guys are my strongest guys to watch at. Yeah.
I would give a shout out to Thomas Belcher as well in second place there. I mean, it's well, not exactly need a like some sort of analysis genius to understand that the guys who do the fastest times in qualifying are also quite strong in the race, most likely. But yeah, the likes of Thomas,
That's
David,
true.
AGK, of course, they will
Yeah.
be among the favorites. The thing is, I already talked about him in qualifying, but I would not count out Like Roger, even though he's down in 11th. I mean, we all know in this game it's not exactly difficult to make overtakes happen. It's very much possible. So I could see him becoming a factor for the race win, and I will, of course, I hope he will. So there might be a bit of copium in there. Enela Luca in 4th place. I mean, I have to support both my boys, so I'm gonna say it's a 1-2 for Enela.
For the guys like Gavroche, it's also very important to see how close the field are gonna like stay together with the DRS to make the overtakes even possible. This is gonna play a big part there. But yeah, I see what you want to say. It's gonna be interesting, even for the guys at the back.
Yeah, and I mean the good news for them is that we're not gonna get any rain, unless we have an absolute miracle. So they can expect to have DRS available to them the entire race to make moves happen. Strategy-wise, I think the guys towards the front will mostly be going with a hard at the start, do a hard soft. But I could see some softs used, especially lower down, when you have to make up some places early on. I don't think we'll be seeing any mediums. It's just not a not a good tire around here at all. It wears like it's pretty much no faster than the hard, and it doesn't wear much less than the soft. So there really is no reason to go on the medium, unless you are forced onto it with a badly timed safety car. But we'll see. I mean, maybe some teams have a different setup direction they've gone to where the medium actually works somewhat, or they just haven't done their research and don't know that the medium doesn't work around here. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the drivers are gonna have to get their fuel load strategies and setups done, so we will be waiting here for a couple of minutes, and then we can get underway with Season 1 of the Esports division.
Being here in watching the pit lane, I actually kind of missed the like F123 T-boning pit crew.
Yes, true. I can't believe they fixed that. The T-posing pit crew. That was glorious.
And I hope no one does forget to load up the setups. Which
these guys are fairly used, I think, to lobby restarts. I don't think I've seen someone forget a setup in a long time now. Since, I mean, PSGL does lobby restarts and most other team events also do it, so these guys do these lobby restarts about 3 times a week, if not more. But here we are! 5 red lights! Ready for the race start. AGK Racing on the right hand side. Thomas Balch on the left hand side. They're gonna go side by side down towards turn 1, it looks like, because Thomas had a pretty decent restart. No! AGK has had an amazing start. Thomas is way back down towards turn 1. And that's AGK Racing safely into the lead. Bit of squabbling in behind. Luca and Bomb here fighting over 5th. Bomb to the bad exit now gets attacked by Morge. And I see an Alpine off at turn 2. I think that was Daniel. But he's rejoined the track. All cars still in one piece and one train so far. So we go down towards turn 4. And look at AGK Racing, he is absolutely gone. Dave Martinez overtaking Thomas Balcher for 2nd place now.
He's the only one on soft. The rest of the field is everyone on hards.
That explains the massive gap he's pulled already. AGK Racing strategy very clear then. Build a gap early and then just manage it for the rest of the race. And so far that's worked out very nicely. He is, yeah, absolutely left the field in the dust. 1.8 seconds, and there's an Aston Martin round. That's GT's and Kiki. Kiki round out of turn 10. I don't think he picked up any damage, but he did lose a lot of position. He's about 2 seconds back from the pack now. He should be able to break back into the DDS train. They are going to be scrapping a bit in the opening lap, so as long as the car isn't damaged, Kiki's race is not over here. Of course, a safety car could bring him right back into it, even if it is damaged. Scrapping there in 11th for Daniel and Gavroche as they're side by side down towards the final corner. Gavroche moving up into 11th. And the entire field now hugging the inside line down the main straight. Absolutely beautiful stuff. But no one going for any moves down towards turn 1, all being very calm. Luca with a bit of a rear lock, and that allows Boompje to sneak alongside, but he can't complete the move around the outside, doesn't quite have the grip. Zeno and what's his? I don't want to call him little sister all race, so what was the name again?
Lumi.
Thank you, Lumi. Zeno and Lumi battling over 15th there, and Lumi coming out on top. Of course, he's had to start in last after he missed qualifying. So he has to make up for a lot of positions. The gap in the front already 3 seconds. AGK using those softs to yeah, full effect. And everybody in behind, very close together. Of course, he is gonna have to hope that these guys battle, because if they don't, they're gonna be helping each other with the DRS they have to each other. So it could be a smart move for the likes of David and Thomas there to just work together a bit for mutual benefit. Do some DRS swapping. instead of battling each other, so that they can catch back up to AGK later. Of course, AGK will have no one to work together with, as he is all on his own at the front. His teammate Flume down in 8th, he can't really do much to slow this pack down either. So AGK needs to rely on his pure pace to make sure he stays away from these guys, because if he does get caught at the end, he'll be very much a sitting duck. So right now this plan looks brilliant for him, but it could backfire. Thomas Balcher taking the lead down towards turn 1. Oh well, not the lead, sorry, second place. AGK is that far gone, I think it's a lead.
Oh, Balcer!
Oh!
Massive moment!
And he's gonna lose loads of positions. He rejoins in 6th position. Just out of Flume, as Kevin Zundenberg is looking up the inside of Flume there down towards turn 4. I don't see any damage on Thomas, so yeah, I think he just had a bit of a moment, which he caught quickly.
He had a moment. David Martinez got a bit lucky there because he rear-ended Balcer when he had his moment, but doesn't seem like he has any damage. So for him.
Battling down towards turn 10 here between Gavroche, Daniel and Toby, I believe that is. And I did see some wings flying. Not sure for who. Let's see if you can spot them, any missing front wings. So far I can't. Coming back towards the top. Luca chasing David Martinez for second. Boomfje very close behind Luca as well. And yeah, a massive DS train at the moment from 2nd to 15th. Liagos, the first one, not in range to the car ahead of him. And out from the main straight we go, you can see the distance from David Martinez to AGK, 4.5 seconds. Those softs really putting in the work for AGK Racing, and he's making very good use of them as well. No movement down towards turn 1, the front, but look at that! The Mercedes of SD Flume sending it up the inside, and he loses his front wing in the process. Too late in the brakes, causes contact with Morge, and he's lost his front left end plate. Gets overtaken as well there, with the ghosting system by Thomas, and likely Kevin Zundenberg as well now. Flume, with an audacious send, doesn't pay off whatsoever, picks up damage, drops down to 8th position. Or does he?
Still there with
I mean, with the damage it was very unlikely to hang it around the outside there. He tried though, have to give him that. But he has to do, well, a very long stint now with this left-sided front wing damage, since you really don't want to be on the mediums. And even if he does go for the pit stop later, I don't think it'll be, smart to change front wing. He'll drop out of the DRS range. So he's gonna have to, well, probably go the whole race from here on out with a damaged front wing. So mixed luck for Sierra so far. One of the drivers 5 seconds ahead of P2 on the soft compound tire, doing very, very well. The other one, he's still in the points at least, but he has picked up a bit of damage and he's under big pressure from Exotic Plains in behind there. And Exotic Plains might go for the move down towards the final corner already. No, he's gonna have to wait for turn 1 maybe. But yeah, you can see Flume with the understeer from the final corner, can't quite hit the apex. And Exotic Plains moving out of the slipstream from everybody in front of him to the outside line for turn 1. And he is able to outbrake the Sierra driver. Gavroche battling Toby through turn 1 as well. A bit of wheel banging. And Gavroche moves up into 10th position. And immediately now staring at the back of the damaged Mercedes up ahead of him. Kiki and Liagos swapping for 16th there at the background. They are about 2 seconds back from the pack, so these guys are going to have to try and work together to get back towards the, the DRS train, so that they can fight for the points. Exotic Plains struggling to stay close to his teammate there. He's, was about 8 tenths back there. He's going to have to be careful not to run out of the DRS range. And the same goes for Luca. He's 9 tenths back from David Martinez, who is really putting the hammer down right now. As Kenny drops a couple of places at once, and he's Kenny with a mistake, coming out of turn 10.
Oh.
What has happened to Kenny? And he seems to be on AI as well. Kenny dropping to last, and he's gonna lose further time here. I'm not sure if he's back in control of the car yet. Exotic Plains making a move on Kevin Zunberg now. I said he was way back from his teammate about half a lap ago, and now he is made an overtake on him, as Thomas actually has lost out on DRS to Morga up ahead of him. Has he? Yes, he has. Thomas Balcham without the ES down the main straight, and now he's vulnerable to the two Evolution Racing cars in behind. Gavroche going for the move as well on Flume. Thomas Balcham late in the brakes, manages to defend Kevin Zunneberg, but now another DRS straight coming up. Can he do it again, or is Kevin going to find a gap this time around? Kevin goes up the inside, and there's not much Thomas can do about that. Kevin moves up to 6th position. But now we have a break in the train. David, Luca, Boompia and Morge from 2nd to 5th have separated themselves from the rest of the field. Unless Kevin Zunneberg can do something about it. He's getting closer. Toby makes a move on Daniel for 11th, gets closer to the top 10. Gavroche, side by side with Exotic Planes into turn 10. Trying the switchback, but not quite on. And now Thomas also almost losing DRS to Kevin. Thomas has lost a lot of pace. And I don't see any damage on the Aston Martin there. But so far, not a good race from Thomas. He's made a mistake early on. He's not confirming the pace he showed in qualifying. And he's likely to drop further place because Exotic Planes and Gavroche are all over him. And then Flume is the first car a bit further back. Of course, he has front wing damage. Just about hanging onto the DRS range of Kevin Zunneberg is Thomas Balcher. At the front, we've got Boompia all over Anela Luca down towards turn 1 here. And he is going to send it up the inside. Under brakes. The IRT man is unable to complete the move. Luca hanging on around the outside. Gavroche with a move up to 7th. As Exotic and Gavroche both went past Thomas Balcher. Scorpion in behind as well. Penalty for Zeno. As Gavroche moves up to 6th now. Daniel and Toby battling side by side through turn 4. Very nice racing going on all over the field here. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Daniel coming out on top in this little battle. Gavroche now trying to chase after the leading train. 1.8 seconds. Tough ass to try and overcome a gap like that. To get back into the DRS range, of course. With every DRS straight he will lose a couple of tenths to the cars up ahead. And he's got major pressure from behind the two Evolution Racing drivers, Kevin Zunneberg and Exotic Planes. We'll see if they're gonna try and attack him. They could also try to all work together. Especially Kevin and Exotic Planes, of course, have all the reason to work together considering they are teammates. And they will be faster if they avoid battling and just do a couple of DRS swaps to get closer to this leading train once again. Oh, well, not leading train. AGK is not involved in the leading train. He's absolutely gone. Still 5.6 seconds ahead. The gap has stabilized a bit from AGK to David Martinez, so the soft certainly no longer at the same level of pace it was at the start. Of course, after 8 laps, that's natural. AGK, I would say, is already quite close to the pit stop phase at this point. I think you do about 20 laps on hards and then the rest of the race on mediums. Softs, sorry. Liagos retiring in the pit lane. That's us down to 17 drivers. Not sure if Liagos picked up any damage or if... well, maybe he just needs to go. Or if he's just frustrated with how his race went, which is also very much possible considering he was down the back of the field and not making much progress. Another battle there for 12th position, and once again Toby coming out on top. Sam Marling lurking in behind, waiting for these guys ahead of him. Oh, and the send up the inside! Beautiful move! Up into 12th position. Sam Marling trying to maybe capitalize on this as well as he has a look around the outside, switches to the inside for turn 10. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Is he going to complete the move at the end there? He is not going to be able to complete the move. He's stuck behind Toby for a little while longer, or is he? As he has another look up the inside into turn 11. Late on the brakes for Sam Marling. Leaves Toby the space on the outside. Very respectful battling, what you love to see. But Toby on the inside line is able to hang on to 13th position. At the front, David Martinez has got Luca in behind under control. The two EVR are still chasing Gavroche for 6th. It must be frustrating to be in Gavroche's position right now. He's sort of keeping the gaps of the leaders the same. But here comes Kevin Zunneberg and re-overtakes the NLR man, but completely misses turn 1. And that's a major time loss for this train as well. But Kevin Zunneberg up in the 6th place once again. Gavroche is going to try and re-overtake him here. Overtake mode enabled down towards turn 4. He's got the inside line. Breaks later than the half man, and he's back up with the 6. Kevin trying to switch back. No. A lot of EAS though for Exotic Planes, not so much for Gavrocha. He has used a lot of EAS to make that move happen down towards turn 1. The gap from David to HGK now coming down with below 5 seconds again. As Morgan goes into the back of ERT Bombier, and that's a big wing damage for him, I think that was, yeah. The left front 8 plate removed off the Sauber. And Boomke has lost a lot of time as well. This could be a chance for Luca to try and break the ES. And at the same time, Morgan's gonna really struggle to stay with these guys from now on with that wing damage that he's picked up. Flume seems to have stabilized a bit as well there in 10th position. He's been holding on to that place for a while, so he's doing quite a good job of managing that wing damage. Daniel letting his teammate past for 11th position, and AGK into the pits.
HGK in pits.
So now he goes for the undercut. Of course, which was to be expected. As Luca had a look at Dave Martinez into someone, he has broken the ass to Boompje. The top 2 have broken away from the rest of the field. Kevin Zunenberg back past Gavroche for 5th position now. That AGK has made his pit stop. Oh, but that's Kevin off! Kevin is crushed! He's hit the barrier with a spin coming out of turn 2. He rejoins the race in 13th position. And surely he has damage. We get a good camera view. Yes!
Yeah.
Left front end plate damage for Kevin. He's lucky to still be in the race, honestly. But that's a major blow to EVR's chances today of scoring a lot of points. They still have Exotic Planes running in 6th place and a time penalty to Kevin as well. Half a lap and he's thrown away what looked like a really good race so far. With, well, 2 moments of, yeah, not 100% being on it. And now he's out of the points with wing damage and a time penalty. Or out of the top 10, I should say. The point system in here is a bit different. You get points down to P15. So he's still in the points, barely. Running in 13th at the moment. Morgan doing a very good job with the wing damage to keep pace. He is still all over Boompje, of course, with the DRS that Boompje has lost, while Morgan still has it. That's an advantage back in his favor. For Gavroche, though, this is very good news. That Luca and David Martinez have managed to break the DRS. Makes it a lot easier for him to try and catch these 2 guys up ahead. And another move there. Flume being overtaken. Up into 8th place. I forgot his name again. I'm such a bad commentator, I'm so sorry.
It's still Lumi.
Lumi, thank you. I should really be remembering people's names. I mean, perhaps if you made your gamer tag Lumi instead of Little Sister, I would know what to call you. Luca, almost out of the ES range to David Martinez, and he's gonna have to really put the foot down in the final sector to try and hang on.
Oh, he still has DRS, but it's gonna be very close.
Gavroche 1.4 back from Boom. He's closing in on the train for 3rd place. It's worth mentioning AGK is only about 4 seconds back from Kenny, so he's gonna be at the back of this the field already. In only a couple laps time. And looking at the EAS difference from David to Luca, I think David is gone. Yep, Luca's gonna miss out on the EAS range to David. So David Martinez now finally has broken DRS to the rest of the field, and he can start only worrying about AGK from here on out. Boompje ready to reroll, take Morgan down towards turn 1. Uses the DRS that he has available to him nicely. Exotic Planes, is he gonna go for a move on Gavroche? No, stays behind. And no movement in behind as well. Sam Arling very close to Toby here as we go through turn 2. And he's gonna have a look up the inside.
Here in March.
No.
This is now the chance for Bombay and March to catch up to Luca. Because he's losing a lot of time now, since he doesn't have DRS anymore. And Bombay is only 1.2 seconds away from breaking into DRS range of Luca.
Yeah, in the meantime, Gavroches closed the gap once again. We've got a train once again for 3rd place here from Boompia down towards all the way to Sam Arling in 12th position. And if Boompia can now go back into DRS with Luca, we'll have a massive fight for the podium once again. Of course, effectively Luca is running in 3rd place, so Luca is the final driver on the podium. Once you count AGK Racing, who is now caught up to Kenny. So AGK Racing has already made a first pit stop and he's already back at the pack. But is he gonna be able to manage the gap that he... I mean, how much of a gap will he actually have after the pit stop? I mean, he had 5 seconds when he pitted, he's gonna have about 10 laps of an undercut though.
18 and a bit, like 18.3 or something. That
Boompia
was the gap
dropping...
after the pit lane.
Boompia dropping 2 places there. From 3rd to 5th, and Exotic Plains ghosting out of turn 1, so he must have made a mistake or maybe been tapped by someone. And he drops 2 places in the process. Kiki and Zeno battling through turn 1. And Kevin Zunneberg lurking in behind, waiting for his chance to pounce and start his comeback in this race, but so far, no luck for him. Because they are 4 seconds back from the pack as well. AGK Racing's made his move on IRT Kenny. No longer running in last on track. And now, this could be quite good for NLR actually, if Gavroche can make a move on Morgan here, and then Luca could let Gavroche into DRS. And there we go, Gavroche up the inside, Morgan squeezes him to the inside. But the move is completed nonetheless. And that's NLR running in 2nd and 3rd now. Luca putting his ERS on none. And there we go. NLR running together here now in 2nd and 3rd on track. They can start working together to keep this pack behind them. Morgan having a look up the inside into the final corner though. And he has the inside line. Gavroche gets squeezed out onto the curb on the exit. Luca giving his teammate a bit of slipstream, and Gavroche is safely into 3rd place once again. And goes for the move on his teammate as well. Around the outside into turn 1. Luca lets him pass. Some nice teamwork from NLR there. Further battling in behind, Boompia hanging on to 5th place just about. But Lumi, looking left, looking right, can't find the gap. Once again looking to the inside, but no chance. Stuck in behind Boompia. When did Thomas get a penalty? He's picked up 3 seconds at some point. As he's practically pushing Lumi through the S section, but not the place for a move. So he sits in behind. We are about halfway through the race now. And the pack is still very close together. But what a race, I must say, from Lumi so far. I mean, remember he started last, he's up to 6th now. After missing the qualifying. Some very impressive stuff. And he's on the back of Boompia for 5th.
And another very crucial thing we have to consider is that AGK has catch up to a little pack in front of him, and he is definitely a lot faster. But it's gonna be interesting how long it takes to actually pass them.
Yeah, he's gonna lose some time here, stuck behind GT10 Kiki right now. Although with a very nice exit into the last straight of the lap, he's gonna have a run down towards the final corner, up the inside. And a crash up ahead for Boompia!
Boompia!
He's dropped in the back of the DRS train. Not sure what happened to him. AGK Racing already made a move on Kiki. He's not gonna have enough ERS for a move on Kevin Zunneberg down towards turn 1. Sam Arling passing Daniel, or driving through Daniel into turn 1. And he moves up to 9th. AGK was a spot with Kiki at first, but Kiki got back past. Now Zeno battling Kevin up ahead for 13th, and AGK is losing lots of time behind these guys now. He needs to find a way past these guys quickly because he's losing loads of time to Dave Martinez, who's actually fighting as he finds a way around Yotzelov Kiki. A daring move, but he's pulled it off. Although now they are inside, rather. AGK Racing has pulled ahead at the end. And now staring at the back of the V-cap of apparently Zeno. Using some overtake down towards turn 11. He's losing, I mean, so much time behind here. And he sends it up the inside. Gets to the apex. Squeezes Zeno off track. Zeno losing 2 places in the process. AGK does get past him though, at least. And now he's only got Kevin to contend with, so once he gets that move on Kevin, then he'll be back into clear now. I think the gap from Gav Roger to David Martinez is closing, down to 2.5 seconds. Exotic Planes making a move on Thomas Bell there for P6. But he gets re-overtaken, as AGK now with the Diaz pass on Kevin Zunneberg for 13th. Crucial for the race, and Kiki sends it back up the inside. But a smart move from AGK there. He was letting Kiki pass for DRS to make sure he actually stays ahead of these guys. Luca being passed by Morge now. And Gav Rogers broken DRS. AGK Racing, not so smart of a move as he can't get... Oh, he absolutely sends it. And Kiki with a spin, and he takes AGK Racing with him. And this is costing AGK Racing the win right now. He was being a bit over-aggressive, caused contact with Kiki, and I think that was what caused the spin for Kiki. And he's losing so much time. I don't think he picked up any damage from that, at least. I can't see a good, can't get a good camera angle of it right now. But this has worked out quite well for the hard runners. AGK Racing, yeah, completely stuck in traffic. Was looking like he's gonna finally get out of the traffic, and then he gets dropped right back to the back. And he has picked up damage.
He has damage.
AGK Racing from the effective lead of the race gets stuck in massive traffic and picks up damage.
So if we consider that you lose around like 23 seconds in the pit lane, around about that, he's still a big gap behind, but with the guys like Gavroche or Martinez having fresh mediums or fresh tires, and with AGK having picked up damage, it's gonna be very interesting. How is he gonna perform once he gets past these guys?
Almighty battle for third right now going on between Luca, Morgan, Exotic Planes and Lumi. Luca's come on top in the end. But that was some absolutely, yeah, amazing racing there down towards turn 4 and through turns 1 and 2 as well. Lumi almost round, and Thomas Baltrano sneaking up the inside, but he has a bit of a moment, and now Sam Arling all of a sudden up the inside into turn 10. Look at this stuff. Absolutely beautiful racing that we're seeing here in the chasing train. Thomas Baltrano does hold on around the outside against Sam Arling. There is Wumpia off in the background. He joins the track just about still in DRS range. And the AGK Racing is losing so much time in this train. It's absolutely incredible. He has made a move on Zeno now, but he's staring in the back of Kiko once again, and he gets tapped from behind. Drops behind Kenny and Zeno. He's down to last position.
So if we look at the Delta time and another massive moment, and with that, he lost every second that he has put the undercut on David Martinez. He lost everything. He came out of the pit lane with a gap of 18.3 seconds to the leader. Then he drove it down to like seconds, and now he's again up to 1.
Well, the train he's stuck in finally seems to be dissipating a bit as Kevin Zunneberg is in the pit for the soft compound tire, the first one of the hard runners to pit. So at least AGK has... Oh, we've got another wing flying! Not sure who for this time. In the chasing pack, but someone just picked up damage, and I think it might be Lumi. As he's side by side with Luca.
Oh yeah,
if I can get a good camera angle, I think he's missing...
Front left.
Yes!
Front left end plate.
So both Lumi and Morgan in this train with damage, and actually Luca has lost out on DRS to Morgan if he can't gain a bit of time in the final sector here. But he might be able to do that, he's not too far away. But I mean, look at Gavroche, he's completely left these guys in the dust, and he's chasing after David Martinez for what will be the effective lead of the race. I mean, how much time AGK Racing has lost, I have no doubt that David Martinez is effectively the race leader now. He might come out just behind him. Gavroche into the pits with the undercut on David Martinez. Crucially, doesn't speed. Exotic Plains into the pits as well. Sam Arling into the pits. Boom here with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Zeno into the pits. Kiki still holding on against AGK Racing. So where's Gavroche compared to AGK? He is behind him. And by quite a margin as well, but he has fresh soft against 9-lap-old hards, so that is, yeah, no concern to try and make up that gap. Yeah, 5.5 seconds, and that's about the gap that AGK Racing gained at the start when he had fresh softs against fresh hards. Now it's used hards against fresh softs, so he's going to be caught by Gavroche and David Martinez in absolutely no time. And of course he is still stuck behind GT10 Kiki here. Luca passing Lumi for 3rd position on track once again. He's trying to get into the estimate of Morga up ahead. AGK now with a move up the inside into turn 11. And that should be him finally actually in the clean air. But this train has cost him the race win, quite simply. He got stuck too long, he picked up damage, could not get the moves done, was being over-aggressive for a bit as well, and yeah, caused a couple of collisions, which I would say were his fault. Dave Martinez in the pits as well now, responding to the undercut that Gavroche made on him. And the rest of the field in behind as well. Morge, Luca, all in. Apparently he's in with a 3-second penalty for track limits. Daniel and Toby still staying out, they're going quite long on those hards. Dave Martinez, where is he going to come out? Where is AGK Racing? He's up into the lead of the race. But where's Gavroche? Is he going to come out in front of Dave Martinez? Yes, he is. Gavroche, the leading sophomore, and he has also gotten a 1-second gap to Dave Martinez. Of course, he's going to have quite a bit more tire wear. I mean, it's only 1 lap, but on the softs, believe me, that's quite a bit of tire wear still. So Dave Martinez still has a very realistic chance to try and get back towards the Frenchman. Luca coming out side by side with Lumi, and look at the battling in behind. Boompier against Thomas Belcher. Of course, Boompier with a lot of penalties of 10 seconds there, but he goes clean around the outside of the GT10 man and holds on to 11th place on track. Toby and Daniel the only ones yet to pit. So they're gonna have quite a big tire offset to the rest of the field at the end of the race here. And there we go, David Martinez is already all over the back of Gavroche. Like I said, the 1-lap tire advantage, do not underestimate it. Only 3.7 seconds from Gavroche to AGK Racing as Toby and Daniel go side by side into the final corner. This is not what they need. Losing further time, but Toby takes the lead of the race. Let's see, are they going to pit this lap? Yes, both of them into the pit lane now. No, Daniel is still staying out. Toby is in though. And David Martinez only a 10th behind Gavroche into the final corner, and he's going to have to make a move into turn 1, I think. Dia is enabled, goes up the inside, and not much can be done about that. David Martinez takes P3 in this race. Toby's going to come out behind this massive pack. Sam Marling with a big undercut as well. He pinned the lap before everybody else here, and he's come out ahead of Morge, who was running in, was it 3rd place earlier? Of course, 4th place effectively with AGK, so yeah, he's once he cleared for pit stop, Sam Arling, well, he's now 5th place as he gets overtaken by Morge, but he's, yeah, jumped up a lot with that undercut that he made. And he's being chased in behind by Luca, Lumi, Boompier, Thomas Belcher, and Flume. David Martinez only 1.4 seconds behind AGK Racing. He's gonna be on the back of that Mercedes in just a moment. So the strategy for AGK, well, maybe not quite playing out how he thought it would. Getting caught in way too much traffic, and it's cost him the race completely. We'll see how much he can still hang on to, but I think there is no question about it. Dave Martinez is going to simply leave him in the dust here. Daniel should finally pit on this lap, surely. I mean, he's done so many laps on this tire. Finally Daniel into the pits. And David Martinez all over the back of AGK, and crucially, so is Gavroche. And I think he's going to try and get them both at once, or at least follow through with David Martinez to make sure he stays on the back of him so he can still fight for the race win. He's going to stay behind the Ferrari. And AGK gets passed by them both in one go, drops down to 3rd place on track. 3.5 seconds now from AGK to Exotic Plains in the battle for the last podium spot. Daniel coming out the pits in... what, that might be last place. Yes, last place for Daniel. But a pretty big tyre advantage. So maybe he can come back and yeah, salvage a couple of points from this. AGK doing a very good job of staying on the back of the road. I think he's gonna try and just hold on to these guys for as long as he possibly can. Just to use the DRS to make sure that he can gain a bit of lap time and stay far away from Exotic Plains in behind. Not much hope for him of trying to overtake these guys. I think it's Gavroche versus Dave Martinez for the win. I don't see anyone catching up to these guys. AGK might be there on track, but with the wing damage, the old hard tires, that seems a lost battle. Unless those softs drop off completely. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. In behind, Sam Arling and Mort have been battling for a while. Luca is inching closer and closer to them in the battle for 5th place. Of course, Morty's been running with wing damage for so long. And the same goes for Flume. AGK Racing as well. AGK has dropped out of the DRS bench leaders, gets past... oh, sorry, Mort's getting past Sam Arling. And no movement in the midfield at the moment. All being rather quiet. Kiki and Kevin Zunderberg swapping places down towards turn 1. Kiki up into 14th. Of course, the crucial battle for the final points paying position here, the 15th position. The moment goes to Kenny with the penalty of Kevin, who has picked up another 3-second time penalty now. He's up to 6 seconds. And AGK has lost contact to the leaders now. And almost immediately, there's Exotic Plains. 1.1 seconds back. He's in DRS range now. He'll have DRS down the main straight, and that could already be AGK Racing dropping down into 3rd place. But he could cause a bit of chaos here in behind. He could hold up Exotic Plains for a bit. Hold up Mort and Sam Marling to allow Luca, Lumi, Thomas, Boompier and Flume to get closer once again. This race still far from over in terms of the battle for the podium. Although Exotic Plains definitely seems to have the best shot at it. He seems to be able to keep Mort at bay, pace-wise, to keep him out of the DRS range. So here we go, down towards turn 1. Is Exotic Plains going to be able to make a move on the AGK Racing app? Of course, AGK Racing with his teammate 11th has a lot of reason to try and hold on to this position. And for himself as well. He doesn't have any sort of time penalties. But he has to let Exotic Plains go. He cannot defend the position. Exotic Plains quite simply driving past him on the main straight. Zeno retiring in the pits from what would have been a points paying position, so that's an interesting decision. With so few laps to go, you might as well keep going. Luca and Thomas battling through turn 4. Bit of contact made, and Luca has picked up damage and lost a position to Boompier. And fleeced the car. Well, he wasn't spun around, but he has lost 2 places in that battle to both Thomas himself and Boompier, and he's picked up the wing damage now in the last couple of laps of the race, and that's a massive blow to his chances of getting on the podium. All of a sudden he's trying to hold on to a top 10 position.
Also, Balsam made a little bit of contact with Lumi going into turn 10, but everything not fine.
And now Sam Arling is in range of AGK Racing. But he's going to be a lot further behind than Exotic Plains was last time around, so he might be able, AGK Racing, to hold on to this position for at least a little while longer. Of course, Mort and Sam Arling are going to want to get past him as soon as possible to keep the gap to Lumi of 2.5 seconds stable, and to maybe chase after Exotic Plains for the last podium spot. So here we go, down into turn 1. Sam Arling and Mort both pulling out the slipstream and both getting past AGK Racing actually. The DRS a lot stronger than I thought it would be. AGK Racing doesn't have much to try and hold on to the position there. And now Kevin Zunderberg retiring as well. We're down to 15 drivers, so everyone left in the race will be scoring points. Lumi being overtaken by Thomas Baltra for 7th position. 2
I
seconds
would
to gap.
assume that I
Yep,
would
sorry.
assume that some drivers don't know that 15 drivers are gonna score points. That's why they're retiring.
Oh, Morge goes deep through turn 10, and he allows Sam Arling to not slip through, actually. Although he might have yeah, he's gonna let past now, I think. Yep, there we go. 2.2 seconds, separating Sam Arling from Exotic Plains in the battle for the podium. I don't think he'll be getting in range of the Heartman, of the EVR man, anytime soon. But so far, like I said, AMR looking like the strongest team. David Martinez in first place, Sam Arling in fourth. And, well, they are actually by far the best team. There's only one other team currently with 2 cars running in the top 10, that's NLR, I believe, unless I'm missing something. And Luca has a time penalty which will drop them out of the top 10. And Morge getting back past Sam Arling to turn 1, takes 4th place. Battle for the lead, very, very quiet at the moment. I've not seen anything happening in between Gavroche and David Martinez. They've been very calm. I think it's a classic league looking strategy at this point. They're just going to wait until the last lap, and then the gloves will come off and they will start battling all out. Thomas goes very deep and loses quite a bit of time. All of a sudden, Lumi a whole lot closer. This train is now chasing after AGK Racing, who is holding on to Sam Arling and Morge quite nicely, actually. So the softs, I think, are definitely showing some signs of wear now. AGK Racing's 16 lap all hearts and the wing damage. Still not enough to drop him out of the ES range to Sam Arling and Morge up ahead. Admittedly, Morge also has wing damage, which could be helping him quite a bit. So, the last 3 laps of the Grand Prix now. Still quiet at the front. No indication that we're about to see any sort of overtake at the front. Sam Arling though with another overtake on Morge. And Morge just lets it happen, yeah. Shifts down to non-ERS for the main straight. They are just DRS swapping, working together to maybe still have a shot at chasing after Exotic Plains. Kenny and Daniel swapping as well. 5 seconds between Gavroche and Exotic Plains. These two at the front in a league of their own right now. As Sam Arling takes Morge into the yes section, interestingly. Lumi almost in DRS range now to AGK Racing, who is in DRS range to Morge and Sam Arling. So Lumi could still end up battling for 4th place here come the end of the race. If he can dispatch of AGK Racing without losing too much time. The cars in behind him, Thomas, Wumpy and Luca, all with time penalties, which will cost them. But in terms of the top 3, those names seem to be set in stone. It will be Exotic Plains, and then the only question is about the order of the top 2, David Martinez and Gavroche. The final 2 laps of the race. And they have both got, yeah, all of the ERS, who would have thought? Come lap 29, that's when we start to see them battling. One more time, crawling around the track for those two, and then you will see the fight come alive for the race win. And just to make sure that I don't give any sort of advantages to anyone, I'll disable the telemetry as we go into the final few laps, so that I can't really, like, share the ERS of anyone. So, 1.5 laps to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix. And Gavroche is all over the back of David Martinez. It's a 1 lap tire advantage in favor of the Ferrari. In favor of the AMR driver. But will that be enough to overcome the DRS advantage that Gavroche has? He's been sticking about 5 tenths behind David Martinez for the last couple of laps, ever since they have both dispatched AGK Racing. Well, I must say, very, very good job to hold on to P6 there with all of those, well, with all the tire wear and all the front wing damage he's picked up along his undercut. So, into the final corner, Dave Martinez and Gavroche go. And we approach the last lap of the Grand Prix. Turn 1. Will Gavroche go for it there, or will he wait for the second overtaking opportunity at turn 4? Here we go. DRS enabled. Dave Martinez hugging the inside line. Gavroche staying in the slipstream, pulling out to the outside line, and Gavroche takes lead of the race. Dave Martinez down to second place, but he's going to come back at the McLaren, at the NLR driver, down into turn 4. We'll see. 3/10 back as they enter the second DRS straight. Gavroche seems to be just about far enough ahead. Dave Martinez cannot make anything happen. But we still have one DRS straight left to go after turn 10. And the run down to the final corner is a good overtaking opportunity as well. In behind, scrapping all over the place as well. Luca and Thomas Balcher for 9th position. Kiki is around in the battle for the last points paying positions. Luca on the inside line loses out Thomas Balcher. Thomas up into 8th. AGK Racing all over the back of Lumi for 6th here. Sam Arling all over the back of Morge. But at the front, Gavroche 7/10 clear of David Martinez. It looks like Gavroche could be on for the race win here. David Martinez closing in quite a bit though. But this will not be enough. He's too far back to go for a move into the final corner. And Gavroche from 11th on the grid has pulled it off, it seems like. David Martinez is still there, but that's too far behind. It will be NLR Gavroche picking up the race win here in F1 Total Esports Division Round 1. And a beautiful start in the season for us NLR. And the first Esports Division winner is NLR Gavroche. Dave Martinez with a very strong race, bringing home second place. Exotic Planes for EVR bring home the podium. Morge and Sam Arling battling to the line, and it is Morge who comes on ahead by half a 10th. Sam Arling in 5th, completing a great race for AMR. 2nd and 5th for them. Lumi with starting from 18th, finishing 6th. An amazing race as well. AGK Racing, he looked like he had the race win in the bag. Such a big gap after the first stint when he went onto the softs at the start, but he got caught in traffic on his fresh hards and only is able to bring home 7th place in the end. Not what he was hoping for and not what he deserved, I would say as well. He was so quick at the opening few laps in the race, and the driver of the day goes to NLR Gavroche, and I would agree with that. I mean, starting from 11th, winning the race, I said do not count him out. And he was dropped out of DRS at some point as well. He came back from that. An absolutely amazing race from the Frenchman. He can be very proud of himself for that one. He got knocked down in Q2, he got knocked out of DRS range with the cars ahead of him, not able to stay with the leaders, but he came back from it all, and he has picked up the race win here in Bahrain. And a very, very good battle with Dave Martinez there. A very smart battle as well. Both of them knowing there is simply no point in battling until the last lap, so they both just waited. And then Gavroche took his chance into turn 1, and Dave Martinez could never get back close enough to go for another move on him. Fastest lap point for Dave Martinez though, which actually we don't have in the Esports division, so no fastest lap point for Dave Martinez. Like I said, Exotic Planes rounding out the podium for EVR. Then Flume in 8th with a decent race for Sierra, but after qualifying there was hope for more. 7th and 8th for them. Thomas Balcher in 9th and Luca rounding out the top 10. Toby in 11th for Legacy Racing. Danny in 12th. IRT 13th and 14th with Kenny and Boombia. Kiki rounding out the points taking positions in 15th. And then DNFs for Kevin Zunderberg, apparently Zeno, and HRT Liagos. And that's it. Any final words from your side, Sully? Anything to say?
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Very battles everywhere. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting season. But yeah, I enjoyed that. So I hope we can keep that for the rest as well.
Yeah, I mean, if the rest of the season can keep going like this, I'll be very happy. Both in terms of the result, I love to see an NLR race win, and in terms of the racing, that was a very good race. The midfield, yeah, showing us loads of action, and the battle for the win going all the way until the last lap. That's what you love to see. So, that's been the first race of the F1 Total Esports division. Our next Grand Prix will be in 7 days from now, the 2nd of February, at Abu Dhabi. Hope to be seeing you there, and hopefully it'll be another race just as exciting as this one. Thank you all for tuning in. And I wish you all a nice evening. Goodbye.